Hello everyone. So in today's session, we are going to take up the design of a proportional integral controller or a PA controller and its approximation what is called a lag compensator or a lag controller. Compensator and controller are technically the same. There is no difference, technical difference between the two. Okay, just two terminologies are being used to indicate the same thing to improve the efficiency of the system performance. Okay, so this PA compensator is used to improve the steady state error. PI compensator as well as its equivalent, a lag compensator, is used to improve the steady state error. We know that any response has two parts. One is the transient part and the one is the steady state part. Transient part is the one that dies out as time t tends to infinity, right? So we have to improve the steady state error with the help of a PI compensator, keeping the transient response intact. Okay, transient response part should not be affected by PI compensator or by a lag compensator. Okay, so we'll take up the design for today. Okay, so as we know, it will improve the steady state error, right? It improves the steady state error. Steady state error is being improved. Right? That is steady state error is being improved. Okay. Now, what's the general transfer function? General transfer function is a proportional term Kp plus an integral part Ki by S. Okay. Take the LCM and simplify. What will we get? Kps plus Ki whole divided by S. Okay. Or if you take Kp outside, you will get Kp into S plus Ki by Kp whole divided by S. I can call this Kp as some constant K into S plus Zc divided by S. That is what we are saying here. Okay, K into S plus Zc divided by S. So in addition to adding a pole at the origin, compensator pole at the origin, the compensator will insert a zero also at minus Zc. Okay. Now, what's the advantage and disadvantage? What are the advantages? It increases the type number by 1. What do you mean by type number? Type number means the number of poles at the origin of the S plane. Okay, so it will add one pole at the origin. Then steady state error becomes 0. Steady state error means steady state error when the input is a step input. Okay, any integral controller gives a 0 steady state error for a step input. That's a property. That's a property. Okay, it will give 0 steady state error for a step input. So error becomes 0. Then what? The 0 at minus Zc is small and negative. Okay, but what's the issue here? You will have to have active circuits like op-amps, additional power circuits, etc., which makes it complicated and expensive. Okay, so today we will take up one example on PI compensator, followed by followed by a lag compensator. Okay, let's go into the problem. So we are given a problem like this. Given the system shown below, given the system shown below, which is operating with a damping ratio of, which is operating with a damping ratio of 0.174. Design a PI compensator. Design a PI compensator. That means proportional integral compensator so that steady state error to a step input. So that steady state error to a step input is 0. Without appreciably affecting the transient response. Appreciably affecting the transient response. Okay, so this is the given system. K divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10 Okay, R of S is the input, C of S is the output. Right? Given the system shown below, which is operating with a damping ratio of 0.174, design a PI compensator so that steady state error to a step input is 0 without appreciably affecting the transient response. Right? So if we want to apply this damping ratio, steady state error, things like damping ratio and other transient response specifications, our closed loop system must be of the order 2, second order system, it should be. Okay, because keep in mind, all these specifications were derived for a standard underdamped type 0 second order system. Omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. Okay, where are the poles? Poles were at minus zeta omega n plus minus j omega n into root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so the given system, closed loop system, is third order. Okay, that means we have to find its approximate second order equivalent plant, closed loop plant. Okay, or in other words, we have to determine what is called the dominant pole pairs. What do you mean by dominant pole pairs? Dominant pole pairs are those which are closer to the j omega axis, and they have a predominant effect on the total response. Okay, so how can we determine that? We will start with the root locus first. Okay, sigma j omega, the poles are at -1, -2, and -10. Okay, how will be the root locus? We know this will be going to -infinity. One will start from here, one will start from here. They will break like this. Okay, so we are given some conditions to find the dominant pole. Okay, what is that? Damping ratio of 0.174. Okay, so damping ratio lines are radial lines. Okay, so at some particular radial line, the damping ratio is 0.174. So let that point be this. There will be a complex conjugate pole here also. Okay, so at this point, the damping ratio is 0.174. Okay, so we can substitute here. This will be minus 0.174 omega n plus minus j 0.9847 omega n. That will be the dominant pole. Okay, so here the dominant pole value is j 0.9847 omega n, and this is minus 0.174 omega n. Okay, these are my dominant poles. Now, how can I find it? How can I find omega n? Omega n is unknown. For that, we will apply the angle condition. Since this is a dominant closed loop pole, the net angle has to be equal to plus or minus 180 degree. So you join all other poles with this particular dominant pole, right? And calculate what is theta 1, theta 2, and theta 3. Okay. So what will be theta 1? Theta 1 will be minus of. Why minus of? Because we are calculating angles due to poles. Angles due to poles are always negative. Okay, so minus of, what will you get? Tan inverse 0.9847 omega n divided by 1 minus 0.174 omega n. What will be theta 2? Again, minus tan inverse 0.9847 omega n divided by 2 minus 0.174 omega n. What will be theta 3? Minus tan inverse 0.9847 omega n whole divided by 10 minus 0.174 omega n. Okay. Now, for the dominant pole to be on the root locus, what's the condition? Theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3 must be equal to 180, plus 180 or minus 180. Okay, so if you solve that, if you apply substitute all these values for theta 1, theta 2, and theta 3 and solve, you will get your omega n value as 3.9865 radians per second. So now we can calculate, substitute this value here. So what will be the dominant poles? Dominant poles will be, what will be the dominant poles? To substitute that, you will get dominant poles as minus 0.6936 plus minus j 3.9256. 3.9256. This will be the dominant pole. Okay, this will be the value of this thing. Okay, so now I can write this as minus 0.6936, and this will be plus J 3.9256. Okay, what's the gain K at this point? We have to find it out. Okay, how can we find the gain K at that point? By using the magnitude condition. Okay, so what is K? K will be 1 by mod GSHS, where S is the dominant pole. That means minus 0.6936 plus J 3.9256. If you substitute that, you will get the value of K as 164.5433. Okay, this will be the corresponding value of gain K at this dominant pole. Right? Now we have to design a PI compensator. So now you tell me, what's a steady state error? How can we find steady state error? This is a type 0 system. The input is a step input. So we have to first find static position error constant KP1. Okay, how? Limit S tends to 0, GSHS. Okay, so limit S tends to 0. What is K? 164.5433 divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. Okay, and how much value will you get if you do this? You should get a value of 8.2271. Okay, 8.2271. So what is the steady state error? ESS1, 1 divided by 1 plus KP. And how 1 divided by 1 plus KP1. How much will you get? You will get 0.1083 right now. Okay, so we are asked to design a PI compensator so that this error becomes 0. Okay. Design a PI compensator so that steady state error is 0 without appreciably affecting the transient response. Right? So now we will add the compensator pole. We know compensator pole should be at the origin. Okay. So now we will add the compensator pole at the origin. Right? Then the compensator pole is added at the origin. At the origin. So see here right now, this is on the root locus. Okay, the dominant pole minus 0.6936 plus J 3.9256 is on root locus. Right? Now when you're adding a pole, what happens? It will not be a root locus plot. Why? Because the angle will be changed, will be different, will be different from 180 degree, plus or minus 180 degree. Right now it is plus 180 degree. When you add a compensator pole at the origin, angle will be different from 180 degree. Okay, so it's added at the origin. What will be the net angle? The net angle at the dominant pole how much will be that? Sigma G omega. Okay, where's the dominant pole? Dominant pole is at minus 0.6936. Minus 0.6936, and the imaginary part was 3.9256. J 3.9256. J 3.9256. Okay, so now we will add the compensator pole to the origin. Okay, right now it is on the root locus and the net angle is plus or minus 180. Now when you add the compensator pole, what happens? Angle will be something else. Angle at the dominant pole will be something else, because you are now adding a pole at the origin. Okay, let's calculate what's the net angle. So this is the compensator pole. Okay, PC equal to 0. Right? So how can you find what's the net angle here? Net angle will be this much. Okay. So we know that this much angle is 90 degree. Right? So we have to calculate how much is the net angle. How will you find the net angle? So at the dominant, the net angle dominant pole will be how much? Will be what? Minus 90 minus what? Tan inverse 0.6936 divided by tan inverse 0.6936 divided by adjacent side 3.9256. Okay, and how much will be that? that will be around minus 100.01 degree. Okay, so this has to be nullified. How? By adding an extra angle of plus 100.01 degree. Who will add the plus 100.01 degree? The compensator 0 has to add. Okay, compensator 0 has to add plus 100.01 degree. Now, so I should, where should I place my compensator 0 now? Okay, let me draw the figure once again. So this is the sigma j omega. Okay, this is my dominant pole, minus 0.6936. This is j 3.9256. Right? J 3.9256. So now you tell me to contribute an angle of plus 100.01. Where should I place my 0? If I place it here, it will be less than 90. If I place it here, it will be exactly 90 degree. So it has to be placed somewhere here. Okay, this is ZC. So this angle is plus 100.01, or this is 90 minus 100.01. So this will be 10.01. Okay, so 10. Okay, equal to, why I'm not taking 10.01, I will tell you. Just give me a moment. I will tell you why I'm not taking tan 10.01. So what will you get? Tan 10 equal to what? Opposite side. Opposite side is 6.6936 minus ZC whole divided by 3.9256. Okay. So if you solve, you will get your ZC as minus 0.0015. Okay. So you see ZC. When we discuss this thing, 0 at Z minus ZC is small and negative. Okay, it's small and negative. That's what we are getting here. It is small and it is also negative. Right? Now, why didn't I take tan 10.01 degree here? Because if you do the exact, if you take the exact angle value, you will get your ZC as 0. That means you have to add a 0 at the origin. Okay, theoretically speaking, TA compensator should improve steady state error without affecting transient response. If the transient response is not to be affected, how much angle pole is giving, that much angle has to be counted by the 0 also. Then only both will get cancelled. Okay, so that means if you take 10.01, you will get your 0 as at s equal to 0, and you have a pole, compensator pole at the origin. What happens? They will get cancelled. Okay, so there is no point in adding such a compensator, right? So that is why it is said the 0 must be negative and very close to the pole at the origin. Okay, otherwise there is no point in adding a compensator. Pole at the compensator pole at the origin will cancel the compensator 0 at the origin. Okay, so our compensator transfer function is now GC of S equals what? S plus 0.0015 divided by S. Okay, so right now our compensator system will be something like this. We have a compensator transfer function S plus 0.0015 by S, and then we have our plant K divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. What's the K value here? K value will be same as what we found. Why? Because our dominant poles are not changing. 164.5433. Okay, 164.5433. Okay, if K value changes, what happens? The closed loop pole will change. That's the Rothe-Lopez principle, right? Collection of closed loop poles as gain K changes, right? So if K value changes, your closed loop pole will change. Closed loop dominant pole changes means what? Transient response will change. Okay, we have to improve the steady state error without changing the transient response. That means the dominant pole should remain the same, or the gain K has to be the same. Okay, so K will be this thing, right? So this is C of S, and this is our H of S, gain 1. H of S is 1 here. Okay, so now let us calculate the steady state error. So what is Kp2? Static position error constant, limit S tends to 0, GSHS. Okay, or limit S tends to 0, 164.5433. We are trying to validate our design. Okay, which means infinity. Okay, so what will be steady state error new now? 1 by 1 plus Kp2, or 1 by 1 plus infinity, which is equal to 0. What was our previous steady state error? Did we calculate that? Or we didn't calculate? No, KP1, didn't we do that? Okay. So right now, what will be the steady state error here? KP1 will be what? Limit S tends to 0, GSHS. Okay. K value, we had found our K value as 164.5433 divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. So you will get this value as 8.2271. So what will be the steady state error? 1 by 1 plus KP1. That will be around 0.1083. So this much was the error of the uncompensated system. But for a compensated system, we are getting an error of 0. That was what we were asked to do. Design a PI compensator so that steady state error becomes 0 without appreciably affecting the transient response. Okay. So the plant has been done in MATLAB. Okay. So you can see here, this is the damping ratio line, radial line corresponding to a damping ratio of 0.174. Okay. So closed tube poles are here. We can just slide and make closed tube pole. There's the pink dots, the pink solid dots are closed tube poles. Okay. So we will bring it so that it is at the intersection of 0.174 damping ratio line. Okay. Slowly we will adjust. Yeah, somewhere here. Okay, it's at the intersection. So you can see here at the bottom 0.697. What is where are the current location? Minus 0.697 plus minus j 3.92. Okay, our calculated value of dominant poles were minus 0.6936 plus minus j 3.9256. So it's somewhat matching. Okay, and how can we find the corresponding gain K value? Edit compensator. Compensator gain K is given as 163.74. Our calculated value was 164.5433. Somewhat matching. Okay, it is matching. So now we will add the compensator pole and 0. Okay, so right click here, edit compensator. We will add an integrator. Okay, a pole at the origin. So what happens? Root locus will get reshaped. Okay, so now we will add our compensator 0. We have designed our compensator 0 to be at minus 0.0015. Minus 0.0015. Okay, now the root locus is like this. Okay, so now again we have to modify the closed tube pole so that it lies at this particular point. Okay, so after adding the compensator pole and 0, you can see it is brought to at this position. Okay, so if you click here, you will come to know where's the position right now. Where's the position? Minus 0.675. Okay, we have calculated our damping pole was minus 0.6936 plus j plus minus j 3.92. It is somewhat closer. Okay, so let us see the step response now. So this is the corresponding step response with compensator. Okay, so do a right click, characteristics, settling time. Oh, sorry, not settling time, steady state. Steady state. So what will be the steady state value? Final value. Final value will be equal to 1. Okay, that means steady state error is 0. Okay, it has to be 0. Why? Because you are inserting a PI compensator. PI compensator will add a pole to the origin. So naturally, steady state error will be 0. Okay, so other transient response specifications keeping constant, steady state error has been improved. That has been driven to 0. Now let us look at the equivalent of a PI compensator. That is called a lag compensator. Lag compensator. Okay, so lag compensator is an equivalent of the PI compensator, right? So a PI compensator will drive the steady state error to 0. But here, error will not be driven to 0. Error is improved only. Okay, error is improved, but it is not driven to 0. Right? Pole at minus PC is small and negative. Fine. The advantage is that we don't need active circuits. It can be implemented with the help of passive elements like resistors and capacitors. Okay. So standard format for this controller transfer function is K into S plus ZC divided by S plus PC. Right? Keep in mind, in the previous case, we had a pole at the origin. S was equal, PC was 0 here. Right? But here it is a non-zero pole. Right? Because of which steady state error will not be exactly 0. Steady state error can only be improved. Right? There will always be some finite value of steady state error. That's the disadvantage of lag compensator. Okay. Now we will take up one lag compensator design problem. So let's take up the same problem. Okay. Now the question is like this: compensate the system given below to improve the steady state factor, to improve the steady state error, to improve the steady state error by a factor of 10. By a factor of 10, if the system is operating, with a damping ratio of 0.174. Okay, same system. So there we are compensated with the help of a PI compensator. Now we are asked to do a lag compensator. How did I understand that it is a lag compensator? Any idea? Because to improve the steady state error by a factor of 10. Okay, it is not, we are not asked to drive the steady state error to 0. If we are asked to drive the steady state error to 0, then you would have required a PI compensator, right? Here we are asked to improve the steady state error by a factor of 10. So we have to go for a lag compensator. Okay. Again, as before, you have to find the dominant poles, equivalent second order system. Okay, we are already found that above. -1, -2, and -10. Okay, root loss will be something like this, going to minus infinity. One will start from here, one will start from there. One will go like this, one will go like that. Okay, so you can calculate what is the damping dominant pole. Okay, so from the above example, what is the dominant pole? Dominant poles were at -0.6936 plus J3 point. This. Okay, dominant poles will be at -0.6936. So this point is -0.6936, and this is J 3.9256. 3.9256. Right? Now we are asked to improve the steady state error. Okay, so first we have to know how much is the steady state error due to uncompensated system. Okay, how can we find that? And what's the value of gain K here? That also we found. The gain K value was found to be 164.5433. Okay, 164.5433. We had found the gain K somewhere here. Didn't we? 164.5433. We had found that here. Okay, same gain value, same problem. 164.5433. So what is the steady state error or KP1, static position error constant? KP1 is limit S tends to 0 GSHS. Okay, so if you substitute that, you will get limit S tends to 0 164.5433 divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. Okay, S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. So what will you get? You will get a value of 8.2271. That will be the static position error constant of the uncompensated system, right? So what will be the steady state error of the uncompensated system? ESS1 1 divided by 1 plus KP, or you will get 0.1083. Okay, So we are asked to design a lag compensator so that the error is improved by a factor of 10. So that means our new steady state error must be what? 1/10th of the uncompensated one. That means 0.0108. Okay, 0.0108. Right? Now from this we can find what is corresponding Kp2, the static position error constant, right? Because how ESS2 is nothing but 1/1 plus Kp2. Okay, so what will be our Kp2 now? Kp2, if you substitute this, you will get 91.5925. Okay, now what is Kp2? Limit s tends to 0, GSHS. Okay, now keep in mind Kp2 is the position error constant with the compensator. That means this is our configuration now. Okay, we are, suppose we are introducing a lag compensator here. Okay, K divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. Okay, plus minus, right? So in this case, our error must be 0.0108. That's what we are asked. We are asked to design a lag compensator so that the steady state error will be 1/10 of the original error. So 1/10 of the original error is 0.0108. The corresponding static position error constant is Kp2. Okay, so that means Kp2 is the static position error constant with compensator. Okay, so that means limit s tends to 0, S plus ZC by S plus PC into this thing, into K divided by. So K value we had found 164.5433 divided by S plus 1 into S plus 2 into S plus 10. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that this must be equal to what? This must be equal to 8.2271 into ZC divided by PC. Okay, how much is that? 91.5925. Okay, so 8.227 ZC by PC must be equal to 91.5925. Or what should be your ZC by PC? ZC by PC must be equal to 91.5925 divided by 8.2271. And how much is that? 11.133. Okay, 11.133. So we are given the ratio of the compensator 0 to the compensator pole must be 11.133. Now you can choose your pole, compensator pole. The compensator pole should be close to the origin. How close? There is no firm rule on that. Okay, I may take PC as at 0.01. You may take at 0.001. Someone else may take it as 0.05. It depends. Okay, so I will choose the pole to be at, let PC be at 0.01. PC means it's the absolute magnitude. Okay, in S plane it is at minus 0.01. Don't forget that. Okay, when I write here PC as 0.01, I mean the absolute value of the pole. Okay, so if PC is 0.01, then from this ratio, what will be ZC? ZC will be 11.133 into 0.01, or what will you get? 0.0111. Okay, so what will be the transfer function now? S plus 0.0111 divided by S plus 0.01. Okay, this will be the compensator configuration where ZC is, or on top of that I will write ZC is 0.0111 and PC is 0.01. Okay, so now you can calculate what should be the value of gain K and things like that. Okay, so now we will see this in MATLAB. Okay, so this was our original system, right? Our gain K was 164.5433. So this is the uncompensated plant configuration, right? Now what next? We will insert our controller. What is the compensate transfer function? S plus 0.0111 divided by S plus 0.01. Okay, so do a right click here, edit compensator, right? So here we can do a right click, add integrator. Now you can see root locus is reshaping. Okay, So now we have to add our designed 0. Where did we design the 0? It was designed to be at minus 0.0111. Minus 0.011. Okay. So now the closed loop pole, the dominant closed loop poles should be made to lie at the intersection with the damping ratio line. You can just do a fine tuning, okay? If you do a fine tuning, zoom it and see, it won't be lying at the exact point. So slide it slowly so that it is at the intersection. Okay, so what is our calculated value of the dominant pole? It was 0.6936 plus j plus j plus here plus or minus j, okay, plus j 3.9256. Okay, it's somewhat magic, right? So let us check what is, so it has met. So let us check the value of the gain k right now. Edit compensator. What's the gain k value? 171. So I have done a fine adjustment here, okay? Because if you zoom it further resolution, if you improve the resolution, you will see that it's not lying there on the intersection. So I have just tried to make it more accurate. Okay. So you can see it's not lying exactly at the intersection. So bring it so that, yeah, I think now it should work fine, right? So now if you check the gain K, compensator gain K, 163.82. Okay. How much was our design value? Our design value was 164.5433. It is 163.82. It's like change only. Okay. So transient response will not be affected appreciably, right? So our design is satisfactory, right? So what will be the step response? How can you see that? You just click here. Okay. Okay. So you can do a, like, you can see the step response here. So let us see how much is the steady state error now. Characteristic steady state. When value is 1, let me check once again. So we are trying to design a lag compensator. Okay. So if you do this, our lag compensator pole is at minus 0.01. So minus 0.01. Okay. And 0 is at minus 0.0111. Okay. So this should now work. So now the poles we have to move. Now the poles have to be slided. So if you try to slide the poles so that the dominant ones lie at the intersection, what happens? Yeah, it's coming. Okay. So we will zoom in this portion and see whether it is actually on the root locus. No, it's not. Okay, we can see that there's a big difference. Correct? There's a big difference, right? So come out of the zooming, slide the complex pole slightly so that it is at the intersection of the root locus and this thing. Okay. So at the bottom, you can see it is 0.694 plus j 3.92. What is our calculated by dominant pole location? Minus 0.6936 plus j 3.9256. So it is more or less the same only. There is not much appreciable difference. Okay. So let us check what's the value of the gain now. 164.44, and our calculated value was 164.5433. 164.5433. Okay, and with this value, if you check the step response and the final steady state value, you can see final value is 0.901. Means there is a steady state error. Steady state error has been improved to 0.0108. Okay, this is how we can design a lag compensator. Okay, so in this session, we had seen how we can design a PI compensator and a lag compensator. Okay, so as said before, PI compensator will drive the steady state error to 0 value, whereas a lag compensator will improve the steady state error. It cannot drive the steady state error to 0 value. What's the advantage of lag? It can be implemented with passive elements like resistors, capacitors, etc. What's the problem with the PI compensator? You have to have op amps and other additional power circuitries, which makes it complicated and bit expensive. Okay, so which one to use depends upon many factors like cost, the weight, the transfer function, the interface that you need between the compensator and system, and so on. Okay, so it's a trade-off kind of thing. Okay, so with this we will stop. In the next session, we will take up design of a PID compensator as well as a lag lead controller. Thank you.